Ruthless, number 9, driven by trainer Bob Nyan, and there'll be particular interest in the performance of Ruthless in the Derby this afternoon because he's actually owned by a syndicate of committee members of the New Zealand Metropolitan Trotting Club, including the president, Mr. Murray Taylor. And Ruthless has won 4 races, but he's generally considered to be a grass track specialist, hasn't really reproduced his top form on the all-weather surfaces such as Addington Raceway, and as he's drawn the outside of the front row, is going to find it awfully tough early. And a nice horse he is, a game and gallant performer he is, but I think again the class of some of the opposition just might be too much for Ruthless in the John Brandon Derby Stakes. And there's number 8, Slugger, another visitor from the north, a smooth fella colt, as is Royden Glen, driven by Robert Cameron. And Slugger went a very good race on the first night, had a few problems last week. He's from the same family as the champion mare Delightful Lady, incidentally, who'll be racing in the Lion Brown Easter Cup later on this afternoon. But Slugger is an extremely talented performer. He's raced well up north, he's raced pretty well down south here, and just before the race I was able to talk to Robert Cameron and ask him just what sort of a run he put up on the first night.
Very good, John, and it was a fairly fast run race, and he was stuck there right till the finish, and I think probably the run improved him a little bit too.
Now on the second night there was a bit of a skirmish with 600 to go, and you appeared to get the backwash from that, and that put paid to his chances, did it?
Yes, I was very well placed, 3 back, 1 out down the back, and there was a little bit of interference up front, and I copped the worst of it, and that put paid to any chance I had.
Well, he's obviously game and he's tough. Are those the sort of things that you need to win a derby against a field as good as this?
Definitely.
What about the draw, Robert? He's out a wee bit?
The draw won't help me. He's not a quick beginner. Probably I'll have to go back and try and squeeze in somewhere. But if it's a fast run race and I've got cover, well, we'll just hope luck's on our side.
Robert Cameron, the driver of Slugger, on the board at the moment at $9.90 for the win and $2.90 for the place. And in the toughness stakes they don't come any better, and as Robert said, given a good run he just might be the surprise packet that could upset King Alba and also Royden Glen. The round at the start, we've got about a minute to go before start time. You can see some adjustment to the gear to make sure that everything's ship-shape and Bristol fashion, and as soon as the starter calls them up they'll be behind the mobile. They have a run of about 400 metres. When they reach the entrance to the front straight, they reach the start down to the winning post and round twice more, and at the end of it $70,000 will be split up among the lucky owners of this very high-class field which is assembled for the Derby this year. This is the first time it's been run at Easter. This is in fact the third leg of a Triple Crown. There were 2 John Brandon championships on the first night, and a bonus was payable to any horse which won all 3 races. Well, it didn't work out that way because Royden Glen won on the first night, King Alba on the second night, so certainly no bonus available this year, but it's an ongoing thing, and the chances of an outstanding 3-year-old winning all 3 races is not all that great, although if you get the luck behind the mobile barrier with the draw, I'm sure that makes a big difference. Josephine Brett, the filly in the race for example, has had 2 second-row draws and has come into 4 today. She's been far too good for the 3-year-old fillies in the south, hasn't had any luck at all here, and I'm quite sure there she is in fact as she comes into shot. John Hay the driver, Josephine Brett, magnificently built filly, won everything in sight in Southland. The 2 noughts against her name were both in the 2 lead-up races here, but in both cases she had shocking barrier draws, and from 4 today I think we'll see a very much better performance. $20 for the win and $4.30 for the place. The clock shows time. Won't be long before they're called up. There's number 5, Liquid Lightning, and this might well be the horse that beats them all. Although he's only won 2 races, Richard Brosnan, his trainer driver, thinks a great deal of him, and he was also skittled in the skirmish on the second night, and his first night run would be a much better guide to his prospects. They're behind the gate. They've got about 250 metres to go. The starter, Mr. Mulcahy, calling them up. Frontline horses all coming up against the gate. They're in pretty good line. As soon as they straighten up, he'll let them go. And the field in the 1984 John Brandon New Zealand Derby Stakes will be underway.
They're often racing in the New Zealand Derby. Second favourite King Elba, about 15 metres behind the pack when they left. Paleface, Triax, Josephine Brett and Liquid Lightning going for the lead with Tucker's Rule. They were followed out by Freight Man. Wider out to Ruthless Sluggers next with Royden Glen just ahead of it. No, there's a crash up front. Liquid Lightning went down and the Derby field's been upset. Liquid Lightning, Royden Glen, they're all involved. Sluggers out of the contest as well. So too is Tucker's Rule. A bad smash. Ruthless and Logan Drive, they've all been unseated, and so too is King Elba, and there are only really 5 left in the race in the New Zealand Derby. Josephine Brett left in front by 2 lengths from Paleface, Triax and Crowhurst and Naval Officer, and about 10 lengths to Lord Louis, and you can guarantee that they'd be the 5 outsiders in the field as they travel down the back in the New Zealand Derby. Josephine Brett the leader, Paleface, Triax running second, Crowhurst third, Naval Officer fourth, and there's about 6 lengths back to Lord Louis, and racing up alongside of Lord Louis is the driverless Ruthless, and Ian Cameron takes hold of that and actually moves round the field with Lord Louis, and he's guiding the driverless Ruthless with him. So a field of 5 in the New Zealand Derby. The rest have crashed out in front of the grandstands, and they're trying frantically to clear the melee in front of us before the field gets round to them. So they'll have to drive very carefully as they come round in the Derby field. Josephine Brett's the leader. Josephine Brett, Lord Louis landed up on the outside, and Ian Cameron's let Ruthless go, and it trails him right behind it. Then we've got Paleface, Triax, and behind that is Crowhurst. They're coming wide down the straight, and Naval Officer at the back of the bunch, and they're going to keep them very wide, keeping the horses still that are prostrate on the ground, and certainly a pack of people around the horses that have crashed, and the field in the Derby going by. Josephine Brett, the leader, goes past the crashed horses now from Lord Louis. Right behind it, Paleface, Triax, Naval Officer and Crowhurst, and the driverless Ruthless is in amongst them as well. But Josephine Brett leads them around the bend. Lord Louis attacking the outside at the 1,000 metres. Josephine Brett, the leader, by a length from Lord Louis. Right behind them, Paleface, Triax, Naval Officer's got into a good place, and Crowhurst at the back of the field, and the driverless Ruthless just in between horses. And I noticed that Bob Mitchell leans out and takes hold of the driverless horse just to guide it to make sure that it doesn't disrupt the field. 700 metres to run, and down the back goes Josephine Brett, the Southern filly. She's the only filly in the race. She's out by about a length and a quarter. Lord Louis landed up to be on the outside of the leader's wheel. Paleface, Triax right behind it. Bob Mitchell still has it on the lead, and Naval Officer the outside. They were followed then by Crowhurst and the 5-horse field coming down towards the 500-metre pole, where Josephine Brett leads the Derby field off the back. Lord Louis the outside. Paleface, Triax now as Bob Mitchell has let the driverless horse go, and Ruthless dropping back to the back of the bunch, and Naval Officer and Crowhurst getting into the party, and the clerk of the course is going to try and guide the driverless horse and keep it out, and so that it won't interfere with the finish. Down past the 200 they come. Josephine Brett the leader. Lord Louis is struggling. Naval Officer stomping down the outside. He's coming solidly. Paleface, Triax getting into the clear. It's Josephine Brett, but Naval Officer's gone to the lead. Naval Officer over the outside is going to win the New Zealand Derby as they go to the line, and Naval Officer has won it. Second home, Josephine Brett and Paleface, Triax and Crowhurst, and Lord Louis would be fifth and last, and certainly a race marred by the crash of all the field but 5.
Well, there's the winner, Naval Officer, but what an absolutely shocking incident that took place just past the winning post with a round to go, which left only 5 runners in the field, and one of the rank outsiders, number 12, Naval Officer, is the winner. Now let's have a look and see how it happened. They're coming down the straight the first time. You'll see Josephine Brett on the inside. I think that's Crowhurst up on the outside, and it looks like Tucker's Rule 3 back. No, Liquid Lightning's the horse up on the outside. Now let's see what happens. They get down to the winning post. There's Josephine Brett, and Liquid Lightning is the horse that comes down first. And you can see that there's an absolute traffic jam behind the horse that comes down, and they just pile into each other one after the other. Nothing any of the drivers could do. And that's what happened a matter of only 250 metres after the start. You'll see some of the drivers being assisted. Charlie Hunter just being assisted into the ambulance. I see Robert Cameron over there. He's okay. Robin Butt walking around. Barry Clark walking around. There's still a horse on the track, I think. And at the moment, the race win seems to be academic, because everybody most concerned at what's happened down there in front of the winning post. Everything seems to have escaped injury quite miraculously. It's absolutely extraordinary when you consider the pace they were travelling at, that nobody seems to have come to any serious harm. At this stage, no numbers up, but number 12, Naval Officer, is the winner, but all the interest centring on recovering the horses on the track, and it looks as though Royden Glen is the horse that's still on the track. Trainer-driver Fred Fletcher there at the present time. The crash team all there, ready to assist the horses. The drivers all appear to be okay at this stage, and just a matter now of getting the official result through and hopefully finding that everything is okay on the track. They still have one horse on the ground. The place getters in the meantime have come back. The official placings are number 12 Naval Officer first, number 4 Josephine Brett second, 3 Paleface Triax is third. There's Naval Officer coming back to scale. He's declared the winner. And there's Royden Glen, the last horse to get up, and he's okay. There's trainer-driver Fred Fletcher in his colours, just checking that everything's in order, but it seems to be. And it looks very much as though no horse or driver has come to any serious harm at all, and that is a blessing, without any doubt. Now let's have a look at the 5-horse finish and see what happened. Josephine Brett's on the inside, but you can see Naval Officer in the golden brown colours coming down the outside, and he's gobbling the rest of the field up, and he's going to win it very easily indeed. Cruises past Josephine Brett. Paleface Triax is third, and Crowhurst finished up in 4th place.